Sustainability is finding a voice within the organisations in the industry, and it needs an advocate within those organisations to be able to, if you like, act as a translator to the influx of new, be it compliance or strategic objective, whichever way you sort of see the challenge. It needs somebody to hold on to that because it's serious. It's something that's government backed and regulation backed, and so companies have to sit up and pay attention to it, whether they like it or not. Some of them like it and are taking it as an opportunity for innovation. And so we see different levels of empowerment between those sort of appointments within organisations. But definitely every organisation, like every organisation, needs a health and safety officer. Everyone now needs an environmental an ESG officer.
And what opportunities do you think we're going to find now kind of this network's being created with those ESG specific people?
Yeah, I mean, there's a spread of appointments, certainly looking at the world from Green and Stream's point of view, from within an association of people, so it's a bit of an echo chamber, but there's a spread of appointments, I think. There's those who have an ESG background and have come into the telecom streaming OTT space, and they understand the sustainability language, but they don't necessarily understand the technical environment. And then there's those who have come up through the telco OTT streaming rank, desperately trying to catch up in terms of all the ESG lingo. So those two, there's no hard and fast rule with those. You find a good broad mix of both types of mindset across the sector, I think. But you know, each one has, if you take the sort of polarized avatar of each one of those, they have different challenges, and the ESG person will struggle for a long time to get a handle on feeling like they've got any authority in this alien telecoms environment. And equally, the telecoms engineers who are being asked to speak this funny carbon language will go, what is it? I don't know what it is. And so I think has been a bit of an expectation that everyone stepping into that role will have an absolutely perfect balance of both ends of that spectrum, but it's a rare person that has all of that.
So that person coming in, obviously they're going to have some challenges, and maybe they haven't been in our industry before and they're coming in afresh. What top tip would you give them?
Test everything. This is very much a green and streaming mantra at the moment. We are quite, so as a broad tip, sustainability has struggled to get onto the sort of onto the whiteboard, onto the discussion table, and it's sort of the cohesive group of people who are concerned about our environmental impact or the sustainability of business in a more broad sense, have sort of been a cohesive, seen as a singular group. What's happened is over the last couple of years that group has now been accepted to the table. The conversation's serious, everybody's getting engaged with the discussion, but the group itself is finding that there are more, they're not necessarily of one mindset and one set of interests. And as that, the group that have been focused on what we would call attributional life cycle assessments have been able to move things quickly, but they're using a lot of estimates. And what we find is, from Green Extreme's point of view, we're more interested in consequential life cycle assessment and measurable effects. And what we found was there wasn't even any measurement underpinning a lot of the data that's being fed back to the engineering community, as if, well, it works like this, so go and make it work better. But actually, the picture of how it worked in the first place, I think, is wildly imagined. And so if you're going into the technical services space with a sustainability hat on, be prepared to get some electricity meters out and go and put them on things and test your theories and go back to the workbench and say, can I actually do that repeatably? Is it science, or is this pseudoscience? Does it guesswork? And I think it's that attention to detail on one side and that need to shout about the problem on the other side sometimes come into conflict within the sustainability discussion that you'll have within your organization. So be clear and be prepared to roll your sleeves up and go and do a bit of actual measurement yourself, rather than relying on sort of back of an envelope data.